everyone, welcome to my channel. I have a new microphone if you didn't notice. This is the Maono DM50 and I really love it and I hope you do too. It is a multipolar pattern, kind of like the Blue Yeti, but it only has 3 patterns instead of 4. And it has USB-C tag instead of mini USB, or was it micro USB that I was using? A lot of microphones still use micro USB and I don't know why, it's really ancient tech. But as you can see, my little girl Nova is sleeping right behind me. She's so sweet. And I have my new comforter, which is very whimsical, kind of green foresty. It's got raspberries, flowers, strawberries. And there's this new book that a good friend of mine gave me. It's New York Art Deco. I'm a huge fan of Art Deco. One of my goals that I have for the future is to have a whole Art Deco flat, my whole flat, like black, golds, pinks and greens. I love those colour combinations, especially black and gold together. So she gifted me this gorgeous book and I love the pages. These are probably my favourite kind of pages. They're like kind of like glossy and they smell really good. I used to always love smelling pages of books when I was a kid, and the texture of certain books I really love. This one, you know, they're quite heavy and dense and they've got a really silky feel to them, and I just love them. So I'm just going to show you a bit of I'm just going to show you a bit of the book. So basically it's got like intro, Art Deco New York in the Jazz Age, the skyscraper architects, the Art Deco look, the art of advertising, filtering out and down across the metropolis, the fall and rise of Art Deco. And then they've got this list of itineraries, and so it's itinerary number 1 to 15, and then that's it. So 1 is from Bowling Green to Wall Street, 2 is Civic Centre and Tribeca, 3 is from Murray Hill to Gramercy Park, 4 the Garment District, 5 42nd Street east to west, 6 from Beekman Place to Rockefeller Center to the Brill Building, 7 from Bloomingdale's to the Sophia Apartments, 8 Upper West Side Central Park West, 9 Upper West Side Broadway and Riverside Drive, 10 Upper East Side, 11 Washington Heights, 12 the Bronx, 13 Brooklyn, 14 Queens, 15 Staten Island, and then the rest is sources reference index. The acknowledgement, it says here, photographer Randy Juster contributed the exquisite color plates that capture the beauty of New York's deco treasures. Legendary New York cartographer John Toranac drew the maps that accompany each of the Manhattan itineraries. Rob Schaefer walked the itineraries and drove with me on photo safaris through the Bronx and Brooklyn. My wife, Susan Leacher, who has explored countless blocks of the city with me, has been urging me to write this book for 30 years, thanks to them all. And then it starts off. Art Deco today is the fashionable name for all the various modernistic architectural styles current between the 2 world wars that helped redefine New York City as the world's modern metropolis. The style is readily recognizable, but its substance is sometimes hard to pin down. Its sources can be found in European decorative arts, but also in New York's zooming regulations. Its practitioners range from socially prominent architects with sophisticated European training to immigrant builders who were largely self-taught. Its monuments include major midtown skyscrapers and modest Bronx apartment houses. It is flowery and it is zigzag. It is intimate and it is monolithic. It is abstract and it is figurative. It is roaring 20s extravagant and it is Depression era cheap. In all, Art Deco has become the collective name for all the brash, polychromatic, geometric, whiz-bang effects that could make a neighborhood diner or a multi-million-dollar skyscraper somehow suggest a skimpy dress, a rakish look, and a glass of champagne. I love the intro and how they described everything. Okay. New York in the Jazz Age. Art Deco coalesced as a distinct manner of architecture at a time of massive growth in the great metropolis of the New World. New York emerged at the end of the First World War as one of the world's great cities. Its population was increasing by the millions, spilling into new residential districts in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, while its dense Wall Street business district grew denser and spread to Midtown, which sprouted the city's second skyline. As it grew, the city, characterized in the 19th century as one of sunshine and shadow, of the very rich and the very poor, developed a massive middle-class population. And with it is a mass culture made possible by the technical marvels of the new century. This was Jazz Age, defined by one writer as a modern era of skyscrapers, the World Series, tabloids, radio, and the movies. This new city, dense, modern, and a citadel of mass culture, found its built expression in skyscrapers, apartment houses, movie palaces, lunch counters, and bus terminals, all serving the anonymous millions of metropolis, particularly those on the way up from immigrant poverty to middle-class comfort. In the first years of the century, architects draped such buildings in exotic styles, extravagant if imprecise versions of the past glories of foreign places. But in the late 1920s and on through the 30s and into the 40s, the glories of the past gave way to the fantasies of the future. In the explosion of exotic modern styles we now call Art Deco. Next, the skyscraper architects. Art Deco drew on many disparate sources and ultimately touched every modern building type. But in New York, it took shape first as a fashion for skyscrapers. 24 major monuments conceived or completed inside 9 years, from 1923 to 1932, designed by a handful of architects, several of whom regularly launched together, created the new modern style that soon spread to thousands of buildings of all sizes, designed by dozens of other architects over the better part of 3 decades. The handful of Deco pioneers included 4 very different architects of varying output, who were associated with the style from its beginning: Raymond Hood, Ralph Walker, William Van Allen, and Eli Jacques Kahn. Hood took the limelight by winning, together with John Mead Howells, the influential 1922 Chicago Tribune building competition, and then designing 4 major Manhattan towers: the American Radiator, Daily News, McGraw-Hill and RCA buildings, the last as the 70-story centerpiece of Rockefeller Center. Hood adopted the pose of a no-nonsense business-like architect, manufacturing shelter, writing that there has been entirely too much talk about the collaboration of architect. Painter and sculptor nowadays. The collaborators are the architects, the engineer, and the plumber. And beauty is utility, developed in a manner to which the eye is accustomed by habit, insofar as this development does not detract from its quality of usefulness. Yet, while writing about design as a series of the effects clustered to give the greatest impact for the dollar, Hood produced some of the most imaginatively theatrical architecture of his day. The red and white striped, tapered stacked masses of the Daily News building, the greenish blue tiled McGraw-Hill building, and the soaring RCA Tower. In the woods of a 1931 New Yorker architectural critic, Raymond Hood possesses the position in architecture that he wants. He is its brilliant bad boy. Walker later voted Architect of the Century by the American Institute of Architects, emerged in 1923 as the enfant terrible of architecture, with his Barclay-Vesey telephone headquarters in Lower Manhattan. This was the first of a chain of Walker-designed Art Deco phone company skyscrapers based on a behemoth massing expressionistic brickwork, and huge lobbies, many with grand pictorial schemes illustrating some facet of modern telecommunications. The pointing, the referring to these different, let's see if we can see some photos. Because it was saying, look, 4 major Manhattan towers, the American radiator 5.7. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, so that is the first one. And then Daily News is 5.1. That's Daily News. And then .8 and 5.12 is McGraw-Hill. Let's see. Oh, look at this one. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to cut it here. We can continue if you guys want more. But thank you for joining me in tonight's reading of New York Art Deco. And it says A Guide to Gotham's Jazz Age Architecture. So if you guys like it, I will continue this series. Have a good night.